Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This meeting of the Online Presenters Toastmasters Club has now begun. Perhaps it's a great day for any type of meeting, but it's a really great day for a webinar contest. Guests, please note that in order to be a member of our club, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmasters official speeches. However, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, we welcome you to apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by the members of our club. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it displays your name and your role if you have one. You simply hover over your video, right-click, and select Rename to do so. Also, please mute your microphone when you are not speaking. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. As a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we will be recording the meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. And now, please help me welcome our club president, Marian Grady, to the virtual stage.
My good evening. Welcome everybody. Not sure why that's happening. Okay, well, welcome everybody. I am so happy to see all of you tonight, and you are in for a treat. It is the second installation of our webinar contest, and we're having 3 nights of webinar contests, and the top 2 winners from each one will compete in October for like the World Championship. So that is coming up, and stay tuned for the next one. And I believe there's a couple more slots open in that one. So if you're interested in competing on September 16th, make sure you reach out to David Carr, who is on this call. I'm going to ask David if he wants to say anything before we get started, and then on to our contest master, Kurthika. David, did you want to say something?
Well, I'll be saying a few words as chief judge in just a moment, but as well, we haven't really done a formal judges briefing or contestants briefing. I've tried to prepare everybody through emails and other communications in advance. But if you have a burning question, speak up now. If not, well, I'll set the stage a little bit, and then I'll come back and give a little bit more that's specifically about the rules. But just for context, this contest goes back to almost 2017 when we started the club. I think it was maybe a few months into it that we had a brainstorming session, and we said, what could we do that would be different, that would be interesting, that would recognize the fact that speaking online isn't just a regular speech and add a Zoom camera. It is a whole different creature, and creating engagement in an online meeting is a whole different challenge. And that's what this contest is set up to recognize. And as Marianne mentioned, this is number 2 out of 3, leading up to the intergalactic, not just national, but intergalactic webinar championship this fall. Well, we'll ask the top 2 from each of these initial contests to compete. We are looking for more people to sign up for September 16th. We keep shooting for 6 and getting people to drop out, so we have 4 contestants tonight. So I think next time I'll shoot for 8 and hope that we get 4 or 5 or 6. And I will admit that I did draft some people at the last minute. Come on. You can come compete, can't you? Help us make it a competitive event tonight. And so we did that, and we'll hopefully have a great event. But with that, I've probably said enough for right now, and let me turn it back to you, Marianne.
Well, thank you, sir. And with that, I'm going to pass it right on to Krithika, who is our contest chair tonight. She's also the VP PR Club. Put your hands together for Krithika.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Maria. Welcoming you all to today's Online Presenters Informal Webinar Contest for the month of July 2024. I'm Krithika Devi Venkatram, Vice President Public Relations of Online Presenters, a member of Toastmasters. We are bringing together the best and brightest communicators to this memorable, inspiring, and captivating event contest who have fostered confidence and empowered themselves by investing their time and energy in Toastmasters Club. Before we get mesmerized by their speeches, let's have a quick look and reflect on what Toastmasters is today as Toastmasters 2024. Celebrating Toastmasters, 100-year, a century of communication excellence, a year to cherish, celebrate with ceremonies. Embracing the digital age, Toastmasters commiserates its first Toastmasters magazine in October 2016. In 2017, Toastmasters introduced its online learning program, The Pathways, and it became official in 2020. Hit by pandemic, in March 2020, the board of directors of Toastmasters officially made and turned the Toastmasters experience into a complete online mode, which was earlier an in-person learning and presentation. This facilitated to make the first ever international convention, Toastmasters International Convention, to be online. That was witnessed by more than 65,000 people. Okay, here we are today. Here we are today with online presenters, a fully virtual Toastmasters Club, an advanced Toastmasters Club. About today's contest. This is a webinar contest that is designed to present your online presentation skills. This is a series of 3 contests. The one that happened in June 2024, the second, which is happening today, and the third, which will happen in September 2024. Contestants and the winners of these 3 contests will compete in the championship contest that will happen in October 2024. No contestant may compete in more than one of these 3 contests. Before I hand over to today's Chief Judge, David Carr, I have few housekeeping information to the participants as well as to the audience. Remember, this meeting is being recorded. Your audio and video contribution will be used for marketing purpose. Audience are encouraged to keep their video on, and you are encouraged to participate in the chatting. Online voting is collected where the link will be shared in the chat. Few tips to the speakers. Speakers could take 5 to 7 minutes of time as per the standard speech contest format. Polling, question and answer, or any other special aid that you use in your presentation will fit into the same time frame of 5 to 7 minutes. Timers should interrupt any speaker who go beyond 8 minutes to keep the event on track. Remember to include your special skill. Remember to project your special skill, and also remember a fair participation, having a control over the usage of your words, phrases, and sentences that do not promote vulnerability is welcome here. Okay, let's get into today's contest. And for that, I would like to officially hand over to our Chief Judge, David Carr, to explain the rules and regulations for the contestant. Over to you, David.
All right. Thank you so much. And take a moment to, I should adjust this a little bit. Should have done this before. But this is where we come to make our mistakes as well as our successes. I just wanted to go over the fact that we did draw a speaking order in advance, using a computerized randomizer. So this is the order in which we will be hearing from our speakers. I do also want to familiarize you briefly with the fact that this is not the standard contest scoring. So there's a big chunk of points that's awarded for audience engagement, with the idea being that it's more difficult actually to engage with an audience that is remote, maybe thousands of miles away. You have to reach out through the camera, grab them by the lapels, and make sure that they are not checking their email while you are speaking. And so we're looking for speakers to demonstrate that they achieved audience engagement in some ways. One of the things we do have available that's very simple is speakers have the option of asking for responses or questions in the chat. Now we have somebody appointed to assist in that, monitoring the chat. So Joni Laidlaw will be our chat monitor, and the speaker has the option, and you don't have to do this, but you may call on the chat monitor to say, were there any questions in the chat? Has anybody been heckling me in the chat? If you want that feedback, the chat monitor is there to assist you, or maybe you ask for feedback some other way. Maybe you tell people, raise your hand. Maybe you use some fancy polling technology. Whatever you use, whether it's simple or complex, the idea is to use it effectively, to gain that engagement with the audience. And also, a webinar usually ends with some kind of a call to action. I suppose most speeches are supposed to end with a call to action as well. And so we have a chunk of points awarded for the call to action. So judges, as you go through this, your ballot gives you guidelines to award those points according to those categories. Ultimately, it still comes down to who impressed you the most. As was mentioned, we don't ask you to turn off your camera. We tell you to turn on your camera. Some contests will tell you, don't enter anything in the chat because that might disrupt the speaker. Well, people being active in the chat is part of a webinar. And so the speaker needs to be undistracted. In fact, embrace the fact that they might be getting that kind of feedback along the way. I think we have covered most of the other things that are important. We will fall back on the standard Toastmasters contest rule book, except in those cases where we've explicitly made exceptions. So if there are any challenges, and if anybody thought somebody was cheating tonight, you are to raise your objections to me before the contest is final, as soon as you can. Between speeches, we'll give the judges a 1 minute to mark their ballot. And then after the last speech, we have a breakup room set up. So we will just dematerialize the judges and send them over to that breakout room so that we can resolve any issues with gathering together the votes and make sure that we have a result. Oh, the judges are not anonymous in this contest either. That's another big difference from a traditional Toastmasters contest. We're going to invite the judges after everything wraps up to give some feedback to our speakers. So we're setting this up. This is not an official Toastmasters contest. If you haven't figured that out, this is ad hoc. This is experimental, adventurous, and hopefully a lot of fun, and a good learning experience for everybody who participates or is in the audience as a guest. So with that, let's have a contest, everybody. Let me turn it back to our contest master, Kritika.
Thank you, David. Yes, I know the event is going to begin. We have lined up with contestants who have great experience with Toastmasters, who are truly like going to mesmerize us with their speeches. Before we start the contest, I just have a quick tip to all the contestants. Just think your audience as a 5-year-old kid. Just follow the layman technique. You will not fail at all. Okay, let's begin the contest for today. Let me call upon our first contestant, Luiz Margolin. The title for his speech is Do You Believe? Luiz Margolin, do you believe? Lois Margolin. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Contest Chair. Do you believe in ghosts? Huh. Raise your hand. Raise the roof. Yeah, I have a few of you there. I've got to tell you, I did not believe in ghosts. But a couple of things happened to me along my journeys of life that makes me question this. The first thing, when my husband and I were very young, we decided we wanted to stay in a haunted hotel. What a silly idea. We went to New Orleans to the Hotel Monteleone. It was a beautiful hotel. It had white everywhere with this nice gold trim around. We walked up, we got our hotel room. We were on the 3rd floor. We went in the elevator. We got off the elevator, made a right down this long hall. It was almost like The Shining, if you can imagine. We dragged our luggage behind us, and before you know it, we came to our room. We had to walk down a few steps to get into the room. And because I had to do some work, I had moved the desk right underneath the light. We went out to dinner and we came back. But when we got off the elevator, we couldn't make a right. We had to make a left. We thought that was very strange, but we thought maybe we were on a different elevator before. We got to our room and I noticed the desk was back where it was originally supposed to be. Somebody was here cleaning up, not a problem. We're watching TV around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden the chandelier starts swaying, just back and forth, back and forth. I have to tell you, we left at 8 a.m. the next morning. We were done with haunted hotels. My second experience happened right around my house. I had the coolest car. I had wanted this car forever and a day. It was a red Cadillac. I love this car. I had dreamed of it. It was my 2nd year owning it. We were at a light. My husband was driving. I was in the passenger, and my 11-year-old daughter was in the back seat. We are just chatting away when all of a sudden we hear. We kind of looked at each other, but then thought, no, and went back to talking. And about 10 seconds later, we heard louder thump. And at that point, we were convinced there was somebody in the trunk. My husband made a left at that point. My daughter moved so fast. I have never seen anybody do this before, but she managed to get from that back seat through the little console area onto my lap in 5 seconds flat. And we're both screaming at my husband, pull over, there's somebody in the trunk. He could not pull over for a good 30 seconds. And I have to tell you, we were all neurotic during that 30 seconds, just in case someone decided to crawl out of the trunk into the back seat. He pulls into a parking lot and we all burst out of this car like our butts are on fire. We're looking, he pops the trunk, and we're all kind of slowly going around to the back of the trunk, and there was no one there. The trunk was empty. Okay, everybody heard this, right? We all heard the knock. We agreed. I have to tell you, every time I got to that light and I'm ready to make a left turn, I would hear the ghost in the trunk. It was so bad that my husband even took the car to the dealership and told them, we have a ghost in the trunk. They kept the car for an entire week and had to come back and say, Mr. Margolin, I am so very sorry, but we could not find the ghost in the trunk. Okay, fine. Maybe it's just us. But I have to tell you, it was my last Cadillac that I ever owned. My third experience with ghosts is when I was in Charleston. I was at a convention and I convinced a bunch of my girlfriends to go on a ghost tour. Have you ever been on a ghost tour? Raise your hand if you have. Yeah, they are so much fun. We started at 9 p.m. and we walked for 3 hours and saw nothing. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to absolutely kill me. I can't believe I made them all go on this ghost tour and there's nothing here. Until we came up to this parking complex. You see, this parking complex back in the 1700s used to be a mortuary. And in the back, there were 3 big stalls for the horses where they would carry the hearse. I went to the middle one because I'm kind of that person, not right, not left. Let's just go middle. And my girlfriend went to the far right one. And I'm looking around totally depressed that we didn't see anything when I hear this blood-curdling scream. I go running into my girlfriend and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And I see her like this. And she's shaking so badly. And I walk up behind her and I look in her phone. And I see these white and blue orbs floating, just floating. I looked beyond her phone and I saw nothing. Phone, orbs. We asked our tour guide, what is this? And she very kindly told us that these are those who have not passed on to the next life. And here they speak to us through their orbs. So I ask you, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, do you believe in ghosts? And if you don't, then are you willing to take that ghost tour? I guarantee it. It will change your opinion. Back to you, Madam Contest Chair.
Wonderful. Do you believe, audience? Okay, let's give a quick reaction to the contestant via online presenters. Meanwhile, let me share a 1 minute of silence so that the judges could take some time to deliver their, to take down their, I am really sorry. To take some time to get their really sorry. Just give me a minute. I just got messed up with few things that I prepared. I'm just sharing a 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark the ballot. Time is up. Here we are, again, back to the contest. Now I call upon our second contestant, Andriy Smolenko. His project title is Community Power. Andriy Smolenko, Community Power. Andriy Smolenko.
Well, as you could probably guess from the title of this mini webinar, it's all about creating, running, and monetizing community groups on Facebook. Interesting thing about community group, if you never heard of them, then you probably never lived your life. There's some people say that. Simple, it's a community of people, basically a bunch of people online on the Facebook talking about all sorts of subjects, from dogs to space shuttles to other things, you name it. Apparently, it's about 10 million community group active on Facebook. More than that, our official Toastmasters International group consists of 30,000 members. And if for some reason you're still not utilizing this effective, absolutely great tool, you should go there. Well, just let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen, contest chair. Have you ever been on Facebook? Raise your hand. I can see a few hands shoot up. Well, excellent. Are you a member of any community group on Facebook at all? Please raise your hands. Right, again, I can see a few people. And then the last one, would you like to have your own stylish Facebook group? Raise your hands if you do. Right, again, I can see a few people. Brilliant. This is how I felt about 6 years ago when I started my own Facebook group. It's called UK Ukraine, January 2018. Why UK Ukraine? Because I'm Ukrainian, based in the UK, and I'm a business advisor. So I thought, well, set up that group, get people engaged, and then hopefully I could monetize that group as well. How? Stay with me and I'll tell you how right a little bit later on. Well, I'm proud and excited to share that in 6 years, this group has grown into 26, almost 27,000 members. Yes, it took me a bit of time and dedication, and my experience, what I've learned in those 6 years, I'm going to share with you. By the way, this is a webinar, and if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, and I'll do my best to answer them at the end of the webinar. Let's start. Simple thing, how to create a Facebook group. Well, let me show you. Right, so this is my Facebook personal page. What you need to do, on the top of the page over here, it says groups. So we click on that icon and it takes us to the next page. Of course, there are cats. We can't live without cats on Facebook. So don't choose cats, choose create new group, please. Right there. And then your group name, let's say world test. And then you choose your privacy. Your group can be public, then everyone on Facebook and off Facebook has access to it, or can be private. Only few people that you select can be in a group. I choose public because you can always change the setting later. Do not invite any friends yet because there is no need for it. And then you just click button, create. And then we're just going to wait for a few seconds and we'll see what happens with this Facebook magic. Yes! It's done. It took us less than a minute to create a Facebook group. Then you can change the picture and edit. You can invite more people. You can post. You can do all sorts of legal things on this group. Well, it's yours. Technically, not. It's Facebook, but you're an admin and you can admin this group. Well, we've created a group already. Then who wants to know how to run it and grow it? Raise your hands. Okay, I can still see few people following me with this. Great. So how we manage the Facebook group so it brings us the outcome we want. Thing number one is a one post a day. It's just my personal recommendation. Some people say need to post probably weekly, but I think keeping one post a day, it trains you up as the Facebook admin and brings more engagement. Thing number two, react to members' content. If people create something, give them your feedback. They love it. Thing number three, don't do it alone. You should take a friend or two to help you run it. I have two people helping me to run my group. Well, then we're going to the exciting parts. So who wants to know how to monetize on Facebook? Raise your hands. I want to see if you're still with me. Right, thank you for being patient. So how to monetize the Facebook? The first thing I would like you to bear in mind, Facebook group is an investment. Yes, seriously. So one member, in a way, is the $1. There are companies, there are people out there who are interested in buying your Facebook group and paying you that kind of money or even more. So be patient and bear that in mind. In most practical way, starts from 5,000 members, and then you can grow up. Of course, you can sell advertisements in your group, posts, big pictures, small pictures, slides, there are all sorts of creative tools as well. And it takes time. So please be patient because it will take time, but rewards are incredible. Create, manage, monetize on Facebook groups, and you will see the results will be there. And if you already have a group, perhaps you learned something today. But if you want to have one, just go ahead and do it. I know I promised you that I would answer some questions. At the same time, the time is running low, but I will get back to you and I'll answer you in a private chat. Back to you, Madam Contest Chair.
Let's show our reaction. Meanwhile, let's take a minute of silence. Let me call upon our third contestant for today. Third contestant, Daphe Tan, going the distance. Daphe Tan, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have took a bold step out of your comfort zone in the past? Let's see, raise your hand, please, if you have taken a bold step out of your comfort zone. I see some of you have raised hand, whereas the rest are not raising hand because you are already beyond your comfort zone because there is no comfort zone for you because you challenge yourself every day. At the beginning, I heard that someone was sharing running a marathon. And yes, those runners, they take the distance. They are not only running distance, but they take the distance to challenge themselves. Some even go for ultra marathon. So in life, it is the same for us. If we want something, if we have set our goal or objective clear, we know there is only one path, the path towards the objective. And for me, unfortunately, I am not in that mode of that case because I do not know what I want until quite recently. I have seen people taking part in contests. I have seen contestants or the winners sharing their experience in workshop, how to deliver a good speech, or how to communicate with your audience through audience engagement. I have seen, I have listened, yet sometimes I get confused. What do I mean by that? Because each person have a different communication style. That is why in Toastmaster pathway, we were asked to identify our communication style. For me, I've gone through deep project and I was a bit here, a bit there, and a bit everywhere. So I got myself even further confused. If I want to participate in a contest, what should I do? Until recently, after the annual conference at some districts, I was thinking, haha, this is the time people have just won their district contest. Why not capitalize on that opportunity? So I took initiative to challenge myself to reach out to the winners. But do I know that? Well, I may know their name, but I'm a nobody in their eyes. Wow, that is challenging and cold. Nonetheless, like marathon runner, like mountaineers as well, going the distance. That's why I took the very first step to break through. I reached out to some of the contestants whom I met before, and I introduced myself and shared my intention or my idea. Wow, the first person that I approached was rather friendly, very friendly, I would say. And he said, yes. Wow, that gave me confidence. And I looked around for the second, whom I do not know as I have to look around and even check in the Facebook for the name. Eventually, I noticed that person had been attending the meeting in my club. I reached out to my club president. Do you have the contact of that person or that Toastmaster? That's how I got it. The number, the contact, and I contacted him directly. And again, I explained about what I wanted to do. That is, manage a panel discussion with district champions. Because to reach WCPS, we need to go through club, area, division, and eventually district before we even qualify for the regional video contest. And the next step, semi-final in WCPS, and until the last stage, be the world champion. Some of you may be champion here. You have gone through, you know what I mean. But I do not know what I mean because I've never gone through the journey. This is why it makes me it makes my discussion, panel discussion, even more interesting. And what I did is that I had it on 22nd of June. But before I actually had it taken place, I was like, hey, why not make it my DTM project? However, DTM project do not require guardian committee, and I may not have the advantage of advice from the Guardian Committee. Then I was thinking, I made a DTM contest. I made 6 panel in 9 months. I always challenged being thrown a lemon. When we are being thrown a lemon, make a lemonade. What was the challenge? To manage 6 panel discussion in 120 days. What would you do? Well, I was a bit slow to react, so I respond. Okay, 6 panel, 120 days, fine. After taking the challenge, I was like, nonetheless, what this Virgin Airlines boss shared with us, Richard Branson, he says that whenever opportunity arises, just grab it, learn how to do it better. And that's exactly what I did. Therefore, right now, I have already completed 3 panel discussions. The first being on the 22nd of June, and the recent one was last Friday. Not bad a result. But going forward, on the 27th, I'll be having another one. After that, I need to look for district champions. If you are district champions, and this opportunity posed to me when I saw read it in Facebook, wow, I told myself, why not? If I want to get the district champion or the link network to reach them, this is the opportunity, which is why I'm going the distance, coming here to look for champions or suggestion, reference from you. Back to you. Let's share.
Let's take a minute of silence to mark the ballot. Meanwhile, you can show your reaction. Okay. Let's have our last contestant for today. Luiz Bravim, Eye of the Beholder. Luiz Bravim.
Once upon a time, an old woman was trying to escape the bitter rain and brutal cold. She found a palace, and in exchange for shelter, she offered the only thing she had: one single rose. The prince was repulsed by her appearance and sent her away. But she warned him, beauty lies within. Some of you remember the classic 80s Disney film, Beauty and the Beast. It's a film that really impacted me as a kid and even shaped my standards for beauty up until this very day. In the chat, I would like you to name one person that you find beautiful now or even when you were a kid. For me, the beauty that I most associated with was the beauty of the media all around me. It was in the Disney movies. It was the actors on television shows. It was all sorts of people, but most especially, it was in the religion my parents introduced me to, which was Catholicism. And I found the art and depictions and sculptures of Jesus extraordinarily moving, even when I was a young child. And I never questioned the fact of what Jesus looked like because I saw so many representations of Jesus in sculpture and architecture and stained glass and painting. So you can imagine my surprise when art historians about a decade ago decided that the true Jesus looked like the figure you see on the right. Not a white European man, but in fact, a Jewish Middle Eastern man of the first century. And yet rarely in our art and in our movies and in our media do we see a Jesus that looks like the figure on the right. I continued studying about standards of beauty, and I learned about a powerful test conducted in the 1950s, and it was called the doll test. Two psychologists named Dr. Kenneth Clark and Dr. Mamie Clark found identical looking dolls, one black and one white. The only difference was the skin color. And they gave these dolls to thousands of young children to play with between ages 4 and 7. And almost universally, regardless of whether the child was a black child or a white child or anything in between, most children identified and found most beautiful the lighter skinned doll, the one you see on the right. And this experiment was repeated year after year in all sorts of cities and states, and even beyond the United States. And the conclusion of the doll test was that prejudice, discrimination, and segregation created a feeling of inferiority in not only Black children everywhere, but Black people everywhere. And this was perpetuated not necessarily intentionally, but by society in millions of small ways. In 1959, the Mattel Toy Company introduced the very first Barbie, a thin, white, blonde, blue-eyed doll that was insanely popular decade after decade. But did you ever think that it took Mattel, a giant corporation, more than 20 years before they introduced the first Black Barbie, a young woman named Christy? So a generation of children had one option, and that was the white Barbie. This white Barbie has evolved over time. She's had thousands of different professions. She's had thousands of different outfits. She even has a movie. But in fact, even the Black Barbie created in 1980 was a lower status than Barbie because she was introduced not as Barbie, but as the friend, Christy. Now, remember that Last Supper painting I showed you earlier. Black historians and artists recreated the Last Supper to include notable African-American figures throughout history from the 1700s to the 20th century. Now, immediately when this artist produced this painting, people went crazy, saying that they were denigrating the art of Leonardo da Vinci, a white European artist from over 400 years before. And I've often thought, what is denigrating about representation? It's not like the Last Supper was even in Europe. It took place in the Middle East. Another notable painting is Grant Wood's American Gothic. And I was older when I was introduced to this painting, but it is almost ubiquitous when you go to any museum of American art. Now, this was created in the early 20th century, but almost 70 years later, an artist named Cristina Vasquez created a new American Gothic to honor her parents, Mexican immigrants who worked menial jobs. Once again, the public outcry was immediate, and even an anti-immigrant backlash in 2017 pressured media outlets not to reproduce the new American Gothic painting. And if you look side by side, the paintings are different enough that nobody would be confused that the new American Gothic was trying to replace the old American Gothic. But the primary focus was on the beauty and the skin color and that is where the outcry came from. Now, for many, many years, I've traveled as much as possible and throughout the world. I have been to dozens of countries and been to art museums throughout the world, and I've often reflected about why the people I call beautiful, I think, are beautiful. Is it because of symmetry, biology? Is it because I've been told that these people are beautiful? Or is it because society has inoculated me to prefer certain groups, certain skin colors, certain cultural norms above others? I think that's a question all of us should be asked. And so I would say, instead of having a call to action, have a call to contemplation. Why do you think it's beautiful?
Let's show our reaction. Meanwhile, a minute of silence to mark the ballot.
I'm actually going to teleport my judges away, so you can go on with the show, maybe chat with the contestants a little bit. So, and we'll be back when we have a result.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. This is one of the aha moment to all the participants as well as to online presenters. We had a testament where we tapped the power of Toastmasters, elevated our skills, and presented beautifully. Let's have a quick check with each of the contestants. Let me call upon our first contestant, Luiz Margolin. Luiz Margolin.
Hello there.
Hey, let me quickly pin you. Yeah. So, introduce yourself and tell us about what excites you to be a Toastmasters.
Thank you, Madam Contest Master. So I'm excited to be a contestant here. I'm excited on Wednesday. I don't even quite know how I got voluntold for this. I have what we call a helium arm, which is whenever anybody says, who can, yeah, exactly, Graham. My arm just naturally grows like that. So I was asked for Wednesday to do a presentation, a 20-minute presentation, and Shoah Roush would go ahead and review it. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Next thing I know, that presentation ended up being an accredited speaker review of 100 people that are going to give a round robin evaluation. And I'm sitting there telling my husband, I go, I don't know how I signed up for this. I was just supposed to have one review. So what excites me about Toastmasters is you never know where it's going to take you. And if you just allow yourself the opportunity and you say yes, so many wonderful things open. I mean, am I really keen on being evaluated by 100 people? I gotta tell you, not really. But it's an opportunity to do something different. And I've learned a lot in the process about the accredited speaker program. And I invite anybody on Wednesday night. You know, it's a 20-minute presentation with 40 minutes of evaluation. Should be interesting.
Luiz, we also understand that you are past president of District 47. How does
I
it
am-
help you?
Yep, I am a past district director of 47. I'm the immediate past and very proud of that district. We have made a lot of changes over the last 3 years, and I have been totally blessed with the team that I had that worked with me. We had harmony. We just were smooth sailing. I was blessed with all of my area directors, my division directors. No one quit on me. We didn't have to fire anybody. Everyone was very happy with the process, and we had a lot of fun during the whole year. It was just nicely done. I was impressed with the teams.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your participation, and we had a good time. Thank you, Luiz.
Thank you.
Let me call upon our second contestant, Andriy Smolenko.
Hi, Kritika. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Andriy. Why don't you introduce about yourself and tell us what made you to join Toastmasters?
Well, briefly introduce myself. I'm Ukrainian, living in Manchester, UK. I've been living here for about 20 years. Well, I'm a business advisor and I have 2 beautiful children. And I've been with this club for about 4 years now. What made me join Toastmasters is, and I just wanted to polish up my public speaking. I was really shy, timid, typical guy, probably many of you can relate to, inside and outside, sweating, just getting red, and then during my first saying, hello, everyone, and then just getting back on the back of my seat, hopefully, please don't ask me anything, please don't ask. And then they ask me again, and I come back again, and I was drawn into it. Something that I really enjoyed now is every time when I join the meeting or go to a brick and mortar club, I try to learn something new. And there is always something to learn, maybe not from the program itself, but from the members. Because we people, we make the club grow. We people make Toastmasters as an outstanding place to be and learn. And I try to pass the knowledge that I get from Toastmasters to my kids, to my business partners. And I like that idea. What I learn, I can implement straight away in life. Yeah, that would be my thing.
We understand you are current VP membership of online presenters. Could you describe about the greatest achievement professionally?
Well, yes, just landed into this honorable position, Vice President of Membership of Online Presenters. The greatest achievements what I've had so far is just seeing people private chat me and saying, I want to join this club. How can I do it? And the thing is, this greatest achievement, because I have nothing to do with it, is thanks to Kim Limin. Kim Limin is our past membership leader, vice president. She's done all the hard work and I'm reaping the rewards for her. So hopefully when next year someone else comes into my place, they'll say, well, thank you, Andriy, for sending all them people to me. I think that's something that I really enjoy.
Thank you, Andriy. Thank you for being here and thank you for becoming a participant, presenting yourself.
Well, thank you, Kritika.
Okay. Let me call upon our third contestant, Daphe Tan.
Hi.
Hey, hi. I'm just quickly trying to pin you.
All right.
I just cannot find you in the participants list. Just give me a moment.
Sorry, yeah,
Yoni,
I'm
if
here.
you could help me to pin. Okay. Daphe, why don't you introduce yourself and give us a quick round of information about what excites you most and what did you learn from Toastmasters?
You're muted.
Yoni, could you
Hi.
quickly pin?
Okay, ladies and
Daphe Tan?
gentlemen, I'm Daphne and I'm from District 51, and right now the time here is 8:45 a.m. It's morning. So it's 12 hours exact on the other side of the globe. District 51, and what excites me in Toastmaster is that I actually took a long break. I hibernated for 10 years before I returned during the lockdown. And I restarted off with the online meetings. And eventually I, of course, once the lockdown is removed, I go around clubbing, but not so frequent, more of an online clubbing person. And what excites me in Toastmasters is that I get to know people that was beyond my imagination, especially through online. We get to be meeting people who are 12 hours away from us and learn from them. And this is what excites me, and which is why I'm here today to learn and get the opportunity to share what I have in mind. And this contest actually posed me a good opportunity. I may not be a well accomplished as a contestant yet. Nonetheless, I believe by going the distance someday and some year, I'll be there, just like you. Thank you.
Great, Daphe. We understand you have written a book. I wish to refine my online presentation. Why don't you tell more about that?
Written a book. Are you referring to me? No, I have not. So I was quite surprised when you were sharing about the book. What I didn't mention, but what I mentioned is that the quote from the Virgin Airline founder, but not the book itself. And well, I'll be looking out for some book that is related to going to beyond the distance, going the distance in public speaking. If you have any book to suggest me, please share with me, especially in your journey, your contest journey, that those books that is actually helping you. Yes. So I'm still new. I still consider myself new, despite many years in Toastmaster, and I was sleeping through those years. Okay, back to you.
I received this information. If it is not, let's not take that further. Okay. I understand you're from Malaysia. Yes? Okay.
I'm from Malaysia, and this is the time, talking about Malaysia, this is the time, especially in Penang, for you to come and taste a fruit that is thorny, yet inside the flesh of the fruit, once you open the shell, it is creamy, and the aroma is so enticing to me, but to some, especially the Westerner, they were like, boo. And not only that Westerner, even my nephew, he will turn off when he smelled the pungent of the fruit. It is the king of the fruit. If you do not know what it is, check it out. Durian. Search for it. It is now the best time to come to Malaysia. Back to you.
Thank you, Daphne. Thanks a lot. Okay. Now I would like to call upon our last contestant, Luiz Bravim. Luiz
It's
Bravim?
Luis.
Luiz.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to quickly find you and pin over here. This is an online platform. Obviously, we do have a lot of technological difficulties, though we have to bear learning with the growing technology, as well as we'll have to adapt and be resilient if we face any difficulties. Luiz, why don't you introduce about yourself?
Sure. My name is Luis. I have been speaking in Toastmasters for about 12 years, and I absolutely hate online presentations. I've never enjoyed webinars or Zoom or tech or anything. I much prefer in-person live presentations, but sometimes you have to eat your vegetables. And in fact, David will tell you that minutes before this contest started, I was calling him stressed out about tech. So I'm just glad to be done with it.
Great. We understand you're also from District 47. What is the
Yes,
best
I
thing
am.
to learn?
District
Being part
47
of
has
District
great
47. Yeah.
Yeah, District 47 has great speakers. I can think off the top of my head of 15 or 20 world-class speakers that are in this one district. You don't make it to the top of D47 easily. So it is impressive when somebody wins any of our contests. And I have learned from all of them. I am not one of the more talented speakers in District 47. There's a lot of people that I look up to, but that's what makes it engaging. And that's why I'm still in Toastmasters 12 years later.
Great. Okay. So here we are wrapping up today's contest. Let's speak something about conversation. We just had conversations with all the participants. There are 3 types of conversations actually. Social conversation, just introducing about yourself, telling about your background, and influencing people with your speech. There is second type of conversation, practical conversation. What is your goal? What are you speaking about? What is the intent? And where is your negotiation point? The third type of conversation is emotional conversation. You show your reaction and emotions. You recognize and reciprocate. This is the moment to show the emotional reaction through online presenters to all the participants as being part of this wonderful contest. All of you unmute yourself and give a big round of applause to all participants. And also show your reactions as online presenters. All of you show your reaction as online presenters. Excellent. So here we are ending the contest. Now it's time for us to know who are the winners. To know more about it, let me call upon our Chief Judge, David Carr. David Carr?
Thank you, Kritika. Thanks for running things and keeping it all moving, keeping people engaged and happy while we've been away. But we are back, and we do have some results for you. So I do want to go over a little bit of just basic recognition. This is the part where we usually hand out paper certificates when we're in person. But thank you for competing, and these are just in order of appearance. Lois Margolin, Andriy Smolenko, Daphe Tan, and Luiz Bravim. But of these, only one can be the winner, and somebody else is going to be the runner-up, and somebody else is going to get third place. We're going to find out right now. All right. In third place, we have Lois Margolin. Hooray for Lois. And Lois is the person who was told at the very last minute, please, can you come compete in our contest? So I think she did pretty well, considering that she was a last-minute volunteer or voluntold. In second place, we have Andriy Smolenko. Get on Facebook, like, share, go forth. And in first place, well, can you guess? Can you guess? I think you can guess. Some of you can guess. First place, we have Luiz Bravim. And don't let him fool you. He is one of the best speakers in District 47 and many other districts around. So thank you all for having a wonderful contest. This is group photo time. So maybe Joni, can you assist me in getting the three winners spotlighted? So that would be
I
Louise.
lost my superpowers, unfortunately, so Critical
Oh,
would have to
okay.
make me co-host.
I will. Well, I'll do it myself then. Just a moment.
I'll just quickly pin all the 3 participants and the winners.
Okay, yeah, that would be. Oh, not. Let's see. Pin where I should be doing spotlight. Right.
Kirk is doing pin instead of spotlight. I keep.
All right, so David, then you go add spotlight and you add the next person. So you go over the next person's name, add spotlight, because you have Andrew there. So
Okay.
add spotlight.
So, okay, wait a minute. Lois is not showing up. Okay. You got Andriy and Lois, right?
There you go. You're there.
Okay.
And then
All right.
third, add
And
spotlight.
now we need our big shot. There we go. All right. Smile for the camera, everybody. We will extract a still out of this and make you famous. I don't know whether there's some way to, let's see. Trying to see if I can move Louise up top, but that's okay. We'll make it clear in the caption. One more smile. Hey, everybody. All right. Well, thank you so much. So let's see. All right. And I did also want.
All right, just a point. Do we still
Here
want
we go.
everybody spotlighted? You can just
Yeah,
remove all spotlights.
we're working on it. We're working on it. Okay. I did actually also want to take just a moment to, let's see. For photo time, and also to acknowledge our judges, who once again were not anonymous, but were fabulous. Asil, Nick Smith, Michael Alexander, and Mark Salmon all helped out this evening. And I actually want to invite them to give any feedback that they'd like to share with the speakers. So, Asil, let me ask you to go first. Any thoughts for our speakers about what they did well? What the impression was from this evening?
This was worth to come today. I learned a lot, and I do believe in ghosts. Lois, it was great to see you today, and nice to meet you, Luis. Andriy, I'm not on Facebook, but if I join, I will use your tips. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to learn from you. Thank you. Back to you, David.
All right, terrific. Michael, a couple of thoughts.
First of all, wonderful speeches just in general. To speak a little bit, Lois, unfortunately for you, whenever you speak about ghosts and ghost experiences, you suffer the, oh my God, the audience is thinking problem, which distracts from your effectiveness. I go through and say, okay, well, that probably happened because, and this can be explained by, so instead of listening to you and being absorbed, I'm somewhere else. It wasn't that it was a bad speech, it's just the subject doesn't lend itself to maximum attention focus there. Andriy, nice speech. I was a little bit put off by the fact that I knew you were going to run out of time and not answer our questions. But I liked it. My first thought was he's off center, and then you used that line up next to you, which worked really well. nice, clear, and everything else. So very, very well done. Very, very well done. And Luis, really nice job of side-by-siding. Nice job of pulling us and making us experience more than just think. And this is where, you know, Lois had us thinking away. You had us hit with and say, what's going on? And really nicely done. Powerful thing for us to think about and worry about. And I like the idea of a call to contemplation as opposed to a call to action. I thought that was really cool.
Michael, I came up with that line about 5 minutes before the contest.
5 minutes well spent.
All right. Well, sometimes that's how some of the best things happen. I don't think Nick Smith is still with us. Oh,
I'm
here
hurt.
he is.
I'm hurt. You don't think I'm
I'm sorry. I must have off-screen participants turned off or something. Anyways, thanks
working
for
from home all day,
rematerializing.
so I have some bedhead, but I'm here.
Okay.
You know, I want to mention that Luiz Bravim has come to our club and spoke, and he's given like these super inspiring, well thought out speeches. And he's like, "Nah, I thought of it on the way over here." So don't let him fool you. All right, so I had some thoughts. Lois, I loved your speech. I think I've heard a version of it before. There was a little bit of an issue, not serious, but if we're trying to take things to the next notch, I'd like to see a little bit more uniform lighting. Your face is a little darker than the rest of you when you would stand, but you did stand, and I like when a presenter stands versus when they don't stand. There was a point during your speech where you knocked on the table or your desk, and we didn't hear that because, well, Zoom has noise cancellation, right? So sometimes those sound effects can get lost. So just be aware of that if you're going to use noise, a sound effect that can get lost in your speech. I would have liked to have heard you say, instead of saying there was a blood-curdling scream, I would have liked to have heard there was a blood-curdling scream. I thought that would have been great. Andriy, I thought your presentation was great. I thought it offered great value. It was very interesting. When I think of a webinar, I think of delivering useful content, and I think we all enjoyed that and learned something good from that. Had some good hooks to ask everyone to hang around and learn how to monetize their page. What a great way to keep your audience's attention. So congratulations on that. Daphne, you may want to consider using a lavalier. There was an echo or something that made it difficult for me with the combination of the tone of your voice and your accent to understand some of the things you said. So think about getting a lavalier, some sort of microphone that can be a little closer to you. That might be a little bit more easier for your audience to understand. But thank you for sharing your message with us. And Luiz, you had great, interesting content. I'd like to see your face inside your screen share. Now, I know how to look at faces in your screen share, but your audience may not know how to bring up the little grid with all the faces to see you speak. And there are tools you can use to put your face on your screen share so that we can see you as you speak. So that's something to think about. And I think asking a group of people what they thought was beautiful might be an uncomfortable question for some people to answer. You might want to think about maybe a way of framing that could be more comfortable for people to ask. And you had some pictures that were stretched out of proportion in some of your screens. So just be aware of that as well. But it was great, very well narrated, exactly what I expected from you. And you had a great closing, as the other judge mentioned. And just one thought on the contest, just one thought on the contest in general. This is my first time at one of your webinar contests, and it seemed like they should be longer. It seemed like over there 5 to 7 or 8 to 10 or something. It seems like they should be a little bit longer because I think of a webinar is something that's more content filled. Maybe there's a good reason why that timing is like that. And now I'll stop talking. Back to you, David.
All right. Thanks, Nick. And actually, I think the original webinar contest format was 6 to 8. We tried that for a while. And then we had an event where we tried to squeeze it down to like 3 to 5 so we could fit more people in. And we wound up coming back to 5 to 7. I mean, if you think of it, the International Speech Contest is supposed to be like a keynote speech, squeezed down and compressed to 5 to 7 minutes. So we're definitely asking people to do an unreasonable thing by achieving all these goals within 5 to 7 minutes, but that's what makes it a contest. That's what makes it interesting. Daphne, I hope you had some fun today. I hope you come back and visit us on another occasion. and hopefully take away some lessons from it. See, anybody else have something that they want to share before we wrap? We're at time pretty much. Although I should bring back our president at the end. Actually, maybe I should do that now. Let me bring back Marianne Grady to ask for any closing thoughts.
Yeah, before which, David, I would like to just share a small piece of video
Okay.
to show the enthusiasm to all the participants who are shown today. It's a privilege to be a Toastmaster.
All right.
We
Thank
had
you.
good
Good to go.
articulation. And I believe we have learned something new from today's session, some kind of storytelling technique or something new, which we will try to practice on a daily basis and become much more proficient. Thank you, David. Thank you for organizing this. Over to you.
All right. Thank you. And over to you, Marianne, to close us out.
Those speeches were amazing, thought-provoking, inspiring, and if you would like to join us for a regular meeting when you can see some of these people in action, we would always welcome you. On Monday nights, we meet at 7:45 Eastern time. And if you'd like to join us for our social time, it's at 7:15. I put in the chat the link to RSVP if you're interested, but we would love to have you. And now I would like to let you know that our next meeting is on July 22nd, and we are in need of evaluators. So if anyone wants to go online and sign up to be an evaluator, we need you. And I really am grateful because a lot of people have actually signed up for their speeches already, which we're getting better at that. So congratulations, everybody. Good job. Now I'd like to reach out to some of our guests. I think I'm going to turn off the recording though, right, Dave? That would be the right thing to do. And we'll still meet with some of our guests now.